Russia's entire economy is about to implode. Within the next 18 months, Russia will be unable to pay its bills, and that's under the most optimistic scenario. Vladimir Putin has been keeping the West in the dark about the dire economic situation in Russia. He has been influencing exchange rates, selectively selecting data, and concealing important economic figures. The mainstream media has made the absurd error of believing what Putin has said about the situation in Ukraine. We've discovered the truth about Russia's economy during the past 2 weeks, and behind the scenes, local leaders are raising their voices in protest at sessions of parliament. Welcome back to Finance Basics. In this video, we'll disclose the specific day on which Russia's elites may rise in opposition to Putin, and the rest of the world is going to become aware of the dreadful catastrophe that Russia is currently facing sooner rather than later. The economy of Russia is collapsing, even though the government may give the impression of being in a strong position militarily. The whole Russian economy is on the verge of collapsing, according to disclosures of information that are both covert and alarming. Because of sanctions imposed by Western nations, Russia has seen an outflow of corporate activity equaling $600 billion. This has had the effect of destroying 30 years' worth of foreign investment that has been made since the fall of the Soviet Union. To give you an idea of how serious this problem is, the current gross domestic product of Russia is only $1.4 trillion. Almost overnight, 42% of Russia's gross domestic product was taken out of the nation. Since Russia invaded Ukraine, over 1,000 enterprises have decided to quit doing business in the country. According to Russia's estimates, the sanctions have resulted in a loss of 12 to 15% of direct employment. Using Russia's data, it is estimated that anywhere between 35 and 40% of Russia's labor force is affected by indirect unemployment. This is because the spending of one person is the income of another person. People will also cease spending money on other products and services if they suddenly lose their employment, which might range from 12 to 15% of the population. According to Russia's statistics, this results in an increase in the jobless rate to between 35 and 40%. The mysteries that lie hidden behind Russia's closed doors are regularly revealed on a program that goes by the moniker Inside Russia. He's a citizen of Russia, and he's seen that a great number of enterprises are closing their doors. Due to the low level of customer activity, even the stores that are still open have very little to no traffic going through them. As a result of the great majority of shops going out of business, customers have nowhere to shop and absolutely nothing to buy. Prices have reached all-time highs for the items that are still available, which have seen a sharp increase in demand. Take a look inside an IKEA facility that used to be occupied by dozens upon dozens of people. The entirety of the location remains vacant as a result of IKEA's decision to cease operations in Russia. It doesn't matter what Putin says, the reality of the situation is that the amount of consumers are spending significantly has decreased. Because Putin manipulated economic data, the West has been misinformed about the state of the Russian economy. There's been a rise in the number of optimistic assessments of Russia's economy over the past few months. The majority of them provide information on how the Russian economy has managed to survive despite the imposition of sanctions. Nevertheless, they are all plagued by the same fatal flaw. They're all dependent on the Russian government itself. Putin's been selectively releasing data and has been concealing vital economic indicators from the general population. We know that it's illogical to put any stock in the propaganda coming from a country that is now engaged in armed conflict because of the history of brutal rulers over the last few centuries. Jeffrey Sonnenfeld, a professor at Yale, was able to unearth the truth about Russia's economy by utilizing direct data sources, data mining of shipping data, and cross-channel checks. The findings of Sonnenfeld's investigation suggest that it won't be too much longer until the uncomfortable situation in Russia becomes widely known. Regardless of what Putin says, Russian residents understand that the economy is doomed. Citizens in a democratic democracy might simply vote on a change in economic policy or protest political incompetence. The issue is that Russia does not permit free expression. Almost 13,000 demonstrators were detained as anti-war demonstrations erupted in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The Russian government handled the demonstrators like animals. Many activists were charged with crimes and imprisoned. One anti-war demonstrator was astute, holding up a sign during a live news show. In response, the Russian authorities imposed 3 separate fines totaling more than $1,700. The government's harassment of her continues to this day. She was placed under house arrest lately and faces up to 10 years in jail under a new statute. The bill was passed shortly after Russia declared its invasion of Ukraine. The statute intended to imprison anyone who criticizes the military. Despite the evident negative results, Russian civilians continue to demonstrate. Hey, that's it for today's video. We'll be back soon with more. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.